The first sign was almost too small to notice, barely even suspicious. My wife, Clara, had just come back from a solo getaway to Cancun. She said she needed a break to unwind after the constant stress of her demanding corporate job. We'd always had a close relationship, or at least I believed we did, and I never questioned her. But as she told me about her trip, something shifted in her tone. Her expression turned playful, almost smug as she casually said, "Oh, and I had some really amazing banana down there." It struck me as odd, too odd. The way she said it, the smile curling on her lips, the knowing glint in her eyes. I tried to laugh it off, thinking maybe she meant some kind of tropical fruit, some regional dish. But the remark lingered, itching at the back of my mind. It felt loaded, like a private joke I wasn't in on. She seemed far too pleased with herself. That night, after she'd fallen asleep, I sat alone in the living room, staring at her phone. I hated the feeling crawling inside me, paranoia, doubt, guilt. I had never been the kind of man to invade someone's privacy, especially not hers. But something inside screamed that something was wrong. With shaking fingers, I entered the passcode, her birth date combined with our anniversary. It unlocked. The first thing I found was a hidden album tucked inside her photo gallery. My heart began to pound as I tapped it open. What I saw made my blood run cold. Photo after photo of Clara, basking on the beach, wrapped in the arms of a man I'd never seen. He was shirtless, lean, sun-kissed, and confident. Everything I wasn't. Beneath one picture, a caption read, "Best banana I've ever had. Totally worth the secret. Can't wait for seconds." I nearly hurled the phone across the room. The betrayal wasn't just in her actions, it was in her pride. She didn't look ashamed. She looked happy. She wasn't hiding regret. She was celebrating. That's what hurt the most. I didn't confront her that night. Instead, I began to plan. I needed to know more. It didn't take long to identify the man. She had saved his number under a fake contact, but a reverse lookup led me to his Instagram. His name was Javier, a bartender at a well-known beach club in Cancun. His profile was exactly what I expected: selfies, flirtatious captions, and a flood of thirsty comments from admirers. Clara had fallen for a textbook beachside heartthrob. But I wasn't just angry, I was methodical. Clara's birthday was in 2 weeks, and I decided to wait. I spent the next several days collecting everything. The messages, the pictures, even the videos she had sent him. I hired a private investigator to dig into Javier's life. That's when I discovered Sofia, his girlfriend. She lived in Cancun and worked as a schoolteacher. Judging by her online posts, she was kind, genuine, and completely unaware of what Javier had been doing. I couldn't let her keep living in the dark. When Clara's birthday finally came, I played the part of the loving husband. Her parents and a handful of our friends gathered at our house for dinner. I even gave her a present. A delicate silver locket she'd wanted for years. She beamed as she opened it, completely unsuspecting. After the meal, I tapped my glass to get everyone's attention. Clara smiled at me, clearly expecting a sweet tribute. "Thank you all for coming tonight," I said, forcing a warm tone. "It's been a rough year in some ways, but tonight is about celebration. Clara, you deserve to feel special." She gave me that radiant smile, hand over her heart. I felt a twinge of hesitation but pushed through it. "This year," I continued, "I got you something unforgettable." I reached under the table and pulled out an envelope. Her expression wavered slightly as she opened it and began flipping through the stack of photos and printed screenshots. Her smile disappeared. "What is this?" she asked, her voice trembling. "It's your banana, Clara," I said bitterly. "The one you just had to rave about." The room went still. Gasps echoed. Her mother looked horrified. Her father slammed his hand on the table and demanded an explanation. Clara's eyes darted wildly as she tried to speak, but I wasn't finished. "You didn't just betray me," I said. "Javier's girlfriend deserves the truth too." I held up my phone and played a video, footage of a Zoom call I had recorded with Sofia. I told her everything, showed her the same proof. Her face collapsed as reality hit. She'd promised to handle Javier herself. Clara stared at the screen in disbelief. "You didn't," she whispered. "Oh, but I did," I snapped. And that wasn't the end. The next day, I flew to Cancun. I went straight to the beach bar where Javier worked. I found him behind the counter, laughing and charming a group of tourists. He didn't notice me until I slapped the folder onto the bar top. "You recognize these?" I asked, loud enough for everyone nearby to hear. He glanced at the folder, then back at me, trying to stay calm. "I don't know what you're talking about, man." "I think you do," I said, stepping closer. "That woman in the pictures? She's my wife." Whispers started to ripple through the crowd. His confidence was draining fast. His manager came over, sensing trouble. "Is there a problem here?" he asked. "There is," I replied. "This guy's been sleeping with married women and bragging about it. Thought you'd like to know who's working for you." I handed him the evidence. The manager's expression darkened as he flipped through the pages. Javier tried to defend himself, but the manager told him to leave. But I wasn't finished. Outside, I confronted him directly. The fury I'd been holding in exploded. He shoved me and I snapped. Every punch I threw came from the pain of betrayal, the years of love reduced to ash. When I was done, he was curled on the ground, face bloody, groaning. "Don't ever touch another man's wife again," I growled, then walked away. Back home, Clara's life fell apart. Her parents were disgusted, cutting ties. Our mutual friends chose my side. She begged for forgiveness, swore she'd made a mistake. But I was done. I filed for divorce the day I got back. Sofia kicked Javier out and told everyone what he'd done. His golden boy charm wasn't enough to shield him anymore. His reputation crumbled. Now I live alone. Quiet. No lies. No secrets. It's not always easy, but I can finally breathe. Clara and Javier got the fallout they earned. And me? I got peace.